In a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. George Orwell. Yeah. This is Blood Politics. The only podcast where we don't talk about politics. We be about politics. And our mission statement is to empower, educate, and encourage everyone to speak out against fascism, speak out against injustice, and fight for freedom and equality for everyone. This is Blood Politics. And we ain't stopping till they put us in the grave. We ain't gonna be quiet. And we ain't gonna be scared. And we ain't gonna go along with the crowd. This is Blood Politics. And it ain't about left or right. It ain't about Dem or Republican. It's about right and wrong. It's about us versus them. This is Blood Politics.
All right, we're limited on time, guys. We are limited on time. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? How we doing? Let's go. We got an action-packed show for you today, limited to an hour on the early show. Shout out to this space. Shout out to the mods. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do over there. And then, of course, shout out to the best chat on the planet right here at Blunt Politics. Thank you to all the mods here that keep the chat running, keep this thing going. Very much appreciate you guys. We're going to be talking about it all, the royal disaster, the visit of, again, King Charles, Queen Camilla. Again, they're kind of ribbing of Donald Trump and a little bit of the United States in there as well from some of the speeches given from King Charles, both in front of Congress and at the, the dinner that they had. So we'll be talking about that as well. Hegseth fumbling the bag big time as far as his testimony is concerned. We've got a couple clips that we'll dive into from Hegseth. We got obviously talking about the gas and oil prices again on the rise, exploding, and that is despite Donald Trump's attempt to curtail the markets once again with his market manipulation attempts on Truth Social. Didn't seem to win, didn't seem to take effect as he wanted them to. We got more Lego drops to talk about, and one of these AI videos, not necessarily a Lego video per se, but I think you guys might enjoy it. It's somewhat poorly done, I will say. You know what I mean? I'll put my right hand up, but I think the message does come across. But before we get into all the nonsense, the craziness, what do you say we bring in the chat? Say hello to the wonderful, beautiful, amazing, fantabulous, bestest chat ever. What's going on, guys? I appreciate you. What's up, Tina? What's up, Will? What's up, Ian? Appreciate everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Substack, the whole 9 yards. We're live on all of it, every single one of them. Make sure you're following us on all of the platforms as well. Threads, Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, all of them. Make sure you're finding Blunt Politics, Boston Brian on there. Should pop up. We're trying to get to 20K here on YouTube. Just past 20K on Instagram. I think we just passed 5K on Facebook. Trying to get the threads up there. I still don't really understand threads. Seems to be like an entirely different universe as far as social media is concerned, but nor the time nor the place to get into that. But I do appreciate the chat as always. Thank you, Alyosha, for all the work that you do over there on Twitch, my man. Thank you, Tiff, and all of the fantastic mods I have here on YouTube and all of the other platforms. You guys are friggin' fantastic. What's up, Jeff? What's up, Dame? What's going on, Eddie? How are you? What's going on, Dustin? Hey, Roxanne. Hey, Rox. What's going on? Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here. What's up, Deb? Namaste. How are you? Everybody, welcome in, welcome all. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. That's one of the more important things that you could possibly do. Again, if you want to take the extra leap, the extra step at supporting the channel financially, there's a little Venmo thing up here. You can send $1 or $2. We have no ads, financial backers, or sponsors to this show. Everything is done independently. We are the true meaning of the word independent media as far as that's concerned. Make sure you're checking out the merch store. That is basically the only other way that we try to keep this thing running and funded. We have great merch on there pertaining to the show, and then also pertaining to just human rights, defending democracy, resisting stuff that is just general political stuff out there that you could wear to spark a conversation, spark a debate, or just let people know what side of history. So check out bostonbrian.com. That'll give you all of the information as far as when the show airs, all of the Zoom dates. You can check out the link to the merch shop. So that's just all of the ways in which you can help this independent media channel grow. So I appreciate you guys. Welcome to the resistance. Welcome to the opposition. position, as I always say, in case you're joining us for the first time. What do you say we dive into a couple of the nonsensical, crazy stories that we have to dive into? And this one, again, was posted in response to the king and queen's visit, just to piss people off, literally just to piss people off, and for no other reason. But let me throw this one on the screen. Yeah, I mean, what other reason would the White House have to post two kings, right? Other than in just like clear defiance to the fact that everybody rightly calls Donald Trump a dictator, an autocrat, an authoritarian, and somebody who himself said he wants to be like a king too. So yeah, the White House putting this out just to kind of stir the pot, just to kind of piss people off in that regard. But this was kind of oh, thank you, Nola. Appreciate that. Thank you for starting off in the right way today. Very much appreciate that. W. Nola in the chat. Hi, Boston Brian and Lobsters right back at you. Appreciate the $10 contribution there. Again, you can send in super chats, super stickers. We recognize when everybody hits their milestone as far as signing up for a YouTube membership, which is costing you way less than a gallon of gas would right now. So for an entire month as a member here at Blunt Politics will cost you far less than it would to put one single gallon of gas in your vehicle. I mean, talk about good bang for your buck. Good value right there. I'm just saying. You can also check out patreon.com/Boston Brian. We're doing the whole revamping of that. We're going to get all of the missed perks and the stickers and stuff. We're going to be sending those out to anybody that we missed. So we're keeping on the ball. We're staying on track now. And then the newbies, anybody newly signed up, will obviously be getting those in a timely manner when they're supposed to be getting those as well. So check out bostonbrian.com. Check out patreon.com/Boston Brian. 3 great tiers on there. All of these things are a great way to help. Thank you, Nola, for kicking it off in the right way. I do appreciate it. But yeah, this was kind of a surprise to me, I will say. This visit in general was seen as a very meaningful, a very important meeting, especially to the people of Britain, because of the degradation of the relationship between the United States and the UK. This was seen as something of, a monumental visit, especially, like I keep saying, for people over there in trying to reestablish some sort of friendship, or, kind of see where we stand even on the world stage as far as being allies with the UK. But the king wasn't holding back as far as his speeches, as far as some of the things that he was saying. He gave a couple zingers that were unexpected. But there was a few other moments that people are talking about as well. There was this one people are talking about in which Donald Trump, again, not recognizing, and he's done this before, right? This is not the first time that he's cut off a queen. This is not the first time that he's broken protocol as far as what you're supposed to do in front of the royal family. But this is Donald Trump. People are talking about cutting in front of Queen Camilla to shake the hands of his own cabinet members. Like people that Donald Trump sees not only every day, but multiple fucking times a day, right? You can tell that the queen is ready to go down the line, shake everybody's hands. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm like a professional and like on top of what the actual, consistent protocol is, but I can be pretty sure that you're not supposed to cut in front of the queen, right? You're not supposed to stand in front, right? She's supposed to lead in those moments and times, especially, in these in these moments where she's doing, she's shaking hands with like world leaders and people established in the government that she's visiting. I'm just, I'm throwing it out on a limb. I'm not, like I said, right-hand accountability. I'm not a professional when it comes to that, but I can say that it's probably not protocol to do this, right? And we'll play it again, but you can see the queen's face, right? You can see her face like, what the fuck was that? Like, what's he doing? Like, who's this fucking guy think he is? You know what I mean? Like, doesn't he know these people? Why is he shaking their hands, right? She immediately is like, okay, you know what? I'm done. Screw that. Like, if you're going to shake their hands, I'm not going to sit here and wait, right? Like, check out her response. You can see her in the background like, what is this motherfucker doing? Watch your face. Right? Pops in. She's like, oh. She looks at fucking... She looks at Melania like, what the fuck? Who is this guy? Get control of your asshole here. Like, will you get a leash on this guy? But no, he goes down the line, shakes a couple hands, and then she doesn't follow up or continue with her handshake. And even the king's like, what's going on here? Like, yeah, don't you know these people? And she just stood in there. She stood in the background like, all right, I guess I'll just sit here and wait. And Oh, just again, never ceases to amaze me how much embarrassment we can feel, like on the world stage when you know there's so many eyes upon, when there's so many like people watching, when there's like the utmost importance as far as like you said, the relationship between the two countries, how long we've been not only military partners but also trade and economic, like the whole thing is just it never ceases to amaze me that there's other ways in which he fumble the bag, right? There's other ways in which he could continue to embarrass us. But another one of these moments in which I was talking about the king kind of pushing back a little bit, whereas the king's usually uptight, really uppity, kind of like I don't I don't even know what the word would be, but it's almost you can expect what you'd hear from a king or a queen because it's so scripted, right? There's so many like players involved in scripting that speech or pertaining to whatever ceremony that they're at, that you can almost guess what it's going to be like. You can almost guess what they're going to say, but not so much in this one. I'm going to say not so much in this visit. The king almost treating this as like a roast, like treating this as like a Comedy Central type of pay-per-view event here, where he was just slanging, like, I don't know if it pertained to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, right? And like, this is in the same week. So maybe he thought it was like, okay, I'm going to get my fucking zingers in as well. But he was taking shots. And again, even as like, especially as you talk about a king, right? Like saying these things. But here's one of the few moments that people are talking about where Donald Trump in the past had referenced the fact that if it wasn't for the United States, the British people would be speaking German because of the United States' help in assistance in World War II. And the king comes back basically saying, hey, listen, you dumb bastard. If you don't remember history, if it wasn't for us, you guys would be speaking French. You know what I mean? So again, a zinger by any means. But when you're talking about King Charles saying this, the King of England saying this in the United States, like it has extra meaning. It also has extra meaning when he brings up things like NATO, when he's talking about support for Ukraine, right? When he's talking about the, how meaningful and impactful rhetoric is as far as being a world leader, a dignitary, somebody that people look at and will respond to as far as what they say. Like a lot of the things that he was saying were kind of subtle. Some of it wasn't so subtle, but a lot of it was kind of like, hey, which is odd. It's really an odd thing to have a monarch, right? To have a king, the King of England, knowing the history behind that and the establishment of the United States coming to basically coach us on democracy, coach us on leadership. Like that's kind of like how backwards of a moment we are in right now. Like we have a monarch, the King of England, excuse me, coming to the United States, like supposed to be the home of freedom, the home of democracy, really, basically, as far as the new world is considered. Now coming to coach us on how that's supposed to be done because of Donald Trump and the way he runs this country. But let me play this clip here where he talks about the fact it would be speaking French. Check this one out.
This said, our French friends can feel equally at home with a glance at a map. Indeed, you recently commented, Mr. President, that if it were not for the United States, European countries would be speaking German. Dare I say that if it wasn't for us, you'd be speaking French.
What a cheeky bugger, huh? What a cheeky bugger. Slipping that one in. You can tell by his face. You see his reaction too. Like after he tells it, he's like, ooh, like that felt good. Like it felt good to be naughty. Oh, it feels good to be naughty. Oh, let me try that one again. Listen, look at his face. That's what kills me the most. He's like, ooh, like you never felt that before. Like a zinger at a world leader. Come on.
Countries would be speaking German.
Look at his face.
Dare I say that if it wasn't for us, you'd be speaking French.
Look at his face. He's like, oh, how's that going to go over? I do like that one, Camilla. Oh, it's so good. It's so good, but it's so fucking dumb and embarrassing and backwards at the same time. You know what I mean? Like even Trump's dumb face. Like I know you can't see him because I'm blocking him. You can thank me later for blocking Trump's face here, but even his face when he turns around is like, shit. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, I didn't expect that one. Like, where'd that one come from? He doesn't know how to respond. There's another moment in this too. I don't think I have it brought up for the sake of time, but There's another one of these where the king is offering up, some sort of prize. It's a bell off of, I believe, a World War II submarine, if I'm not mistaken, and is presenting that, or is going to present that to Trump. And Trump just stands up in the middle of nowhere, like fucking randomly, and the king's like, "What are you doing? I'm not right this second. I'm not presenting it to you. It's gonna stay here for a second, and then we could do this." Like, and Trump just stands up and stands in the corner. The king's like, "What are you doing, dude? Like, sit the fuck down. I'm making my speech here." Like, it's the whole thing is just, it's embarrassing on so many different fronts, on so many different levels. I was desperate to have James O'Brien's full show come out before we got on air, to hear what he had to say, but there were a couple clips that came out from the show, at least. So this was one of those moments, a clip coming out from James O'Brien on LBC. I think it's from his recent full show, but it didn't post before we got on there, because I'm sure there's going to be some beautiful moments of James O'Brien not only reacting to what the king said, because the reaction that I'm seeing from a lot of the British citizens, a lot of the media in Britain is kind of, surprisement. Surprisement is surprised. They're surprised at the fact that the king came out and said these things, that, and decided to, throw the subtle shots and some not so subtle shots at Donald Trump. But here's James O'Brien with one of the clips coming out from his full show, talking about this meeting between King and Queen and Donald Trump.
Unlikely Trump realized what was going on, because he doesn't really seem to understand the words that he is actually saying himself at some points during his oratorical excursions.
Majestic inheritance, their veins ran with Anglo-Saxon courage.
What?
Their hearts beat with an English faith in standing firm for what is right, good,
Go on, try and work out where the punctuation marks are.
In recent years, we've often...
Go on. Try to work out where the punctuation marks are. It's like just a mumbled, jumbled group of words that really have no meaning, but he thinks they're like historic in reference. So that's why the people put them on the page.
And heard it said that America is merely an idea, but the cause of freedom did not simply appear as an intellectual invention of 1776.
I would pay good money to see somebody ask him immediately after that what his speech had been about. It's highly unlikely.
I would pay good money if somebody would have asked him afterwards what his speech was actually about, because there's probably no way in which he could describe it or detail what was in there even just after he finished the speech. Again, just a mumbled, jumbled group of words that he thinks are meaningful and impactful, or the people that wrote the speech, I should say, thought was meaningful and impactful, but just completely missed the mark. Even where the king is sitting behind him, like, what is he talking about? Like, I know we're, a common people, two countries separated by a common language, you know what I mean? But I don't know what the hell he's talking about at this point in time. But, hopefully by tonight's show, they'll have posted James's full show, or at least some extended clips that we could get into, because I'm sure he's got a lot more to say as far as that's concerned. There was another segment that came out where he's taking calls from the British public on what they thought of it, but I'd rather hear what James himself had to say. And that kind of leads me to this craziness. That you thought that was crazy. Well, the craziness continues on Donald Trump's True Social account, because here's another one of these ridiculous posts that he made at about 4 a.m. This is, like I said, Trump on his True Social saying, Iran can't get their act together. They don't know how to sign a non-nuclear deal. They better get smart soon. And then it says here, in case you just listen, it's a meme of Donald Trump holding a long rifle, basically saying, no more Mr. Nice Guy, with explosions happening in the background. Trump basically dressed as a Secret Service agent with sunglasses on, while what is supposed to be Iran, I'm assuming, gets blown up in the background. So again, a little dip into the mind of Donald Trump at 4 a.m. this morning to see what he was thinking, and posted on True Social. Once again, seemingly looking like he's threatening the destruction of the civilization. This time, going to enact it himself as a Secret Service agent, apparently. But as we talked about the other day, his market manipulation attempts seem to be failing very, very drastically, I will say, because now, as you'll see here on the AAA website, today's AAA national average as of 4/29/2026 is $4. Over $4.20 a gallon right now. You know what I mean? This says 422. I think it was 429 at one point, if I'm not mistaken, as well. But you can see here the different national retail prices and the national average over here on the left, and that goes hand in hand with the price of crude at this point in time, which is Brent up over 117, WTI up over 105, and that's probably been changing rapidly. Let's do an update. See what this actually. Yep, I told you, it even gone up 2 more. Brent crude now at 119.4, WTI at 107. So you can see the dramatic spike, the dramatic increase in the price of not only a gallon of gas here in the United States, but also for a price per barrel of oil. As far as the market is concerned, Donald Trump's, exploits his attempts at, telling everybody that everything's A-okay, really doesn't hold too much water when, again, at 4 a.m. you're posting shit like this. Like everything's going to be fine. We've achieved total victory. There's going to have, the straits open. Everything's all set. Iran, he posted the other day, said that they called him and said that they're on the verge of collapse. So let's get a deal done. And now at 4 a.m., he's posting shit like this. And again, I'm not saying the market directly reacted to something like this, but definitely doesn't have a positive impact when the president is again threatening basically the total extinction of a people, the total destruction of a civilization if a deal doesn't get signed. And, as you'll hear in a lot of the accounts and a lot of the reporting, the deal doesn't seem like it's anywhere near done. Like it doesn't seem like we're anywhere even close to getting the deal done by any stretch of the imagination. So as far as how long that's going to go on and as far as how high these prices are going to go, it's basically anybody's guess at this point. But that leads me into this clip that I want to talk about. This is posted by CNN, and this is talking about how the UAE exits OPEC and how gas prices have spiked to the highest in 4 years. So this kind of details the fluctuation that we've seen, and not only how the fluctuations keep going up and down, but how drastic and dramatic the spikes and reductions are. Like it's not just a couple points here and there going up and down based off of what's happening on the geopolitical stage or what the president of the United States is saying. Like we're talking about serious increases and decreases that are destabilizing the market, that are destabilizing regions all across this fucking globe right now. So I just want to see if we can dive into a minute or two of this that kind of details this a little further and maybe the impacts and effects that it's having. So I appreciate you guys. Like I said, my name is Brian. This is Blunt Politics. If you could hit that like button, if you could share the stream out, that would be fantastic. And if you could subscribe to the channel to try to help us get to 20,000 subscribers, that would be even better. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Welcome to the resistance. Welcome to the opposition. Let's see if we can dive into, again, the highest gas price spikes in 4 years, as we're seeing right now.
Gas prices are surging to the highest level in nearly 4 years because, of course, of deadlocked Iran war. And the talks that just aren't going anywhere and are rattling the global economy. Now, the national average is now $4.18 a gallon. That's up nearly 7 cents from just yesterday, and the highest price since the war began. And just to get kind of a better sense or a window into what we're watching right now.
And again, just to show you how fast these things are changing, he got that from AAA, which is what we were just showing you. And this was put out just 23 hours ago, okay? 23 hours ago, and he says there that the national average was 418. So as I just put it on the screen, we look at the same exact website, same source that he was getting that from. We're now up to 422. You know what I mean? Go verging on 423 at this point. So you can see just how fast this is moving. Like he talked about yesterday, that was a 7-point increase, 7-cent increase, from just the day before. So now we're talking about another 5, possibly 6 cents on top of that in another day. Like these are huge fucking increases. These are huge things that people are going to have to contend with on a daily life now and kind of, impact that into their budget. It's definitely having an impact, not only on gas prices, but also prices on everything all throughout the board, like down to everything that you could possibly think of. Again, if it gets there by truck, train, automobile, plane, or a cargo vessel, then these are going to have impacts, whether it's jet fuel, whether it's diesel, whether it's fuel in general, right? It's going to have an impact on what you're paying. So you can see the dramatic way in which this is changing just right off the bat, just from this reporting. You know what I mean? It's crazy. All right, we continue.
I think it's important to look back over time. I'm going to draw a little bit on the magic wall and try not to make a fool of myself as Richard is watching me here. We said 418 is where things stand today. And I think when you look at
and I'll get out of the way so you can see the chart
the start
here.
of the war, what's so notable is the speed and scale.
I mean, look at where we were, obviously, on this. I mean, January 2024, right? I mean, we're talking about scraping, just touching the surface of $3 right there. You can see the spike after that, but then look at the huge spike. And again, remember how much people were talking about it back then? Remember how much people talking about gas and how quickly things changed? Look at the spike there in January 2026. Fucking, I mean, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Unbelievable.
Of the surge of the prices, but also that prices were below $3 a gallon right before this was all happening. At the end of last year, at the start of January, everything the Trump administration wanted on this front, Richard, was happening. Now, if you look back over to the Ukraine conflict and kind of the aftermath of that in the near term, and you saw gas prices topping $5, came back down pretty steadily since. So Richard, we haven't hit the $5 mark yet. This seems dramatically worse from a global market perspective in terms of the disruption we're living through. Where do you see this going?
All right, so look, I wish I'd known you had your toys out, because I've got one that I could have used. Instead, I'm just going to go the old-fashioned way. You can't really see this very clearly, but essentially, the oil price has risen quite sharply, right? So we have a very sharp rise in the oil price, as you can see. Now, the important point to realize is this bit. Once the oil price got up there, over $100 a barrel, I'm just going to shade it in so you can see. It doesn't matter how long it continues. This bit is baking in slow growth, slowing economy, higher inflation. And as this continues on and on and on, you know, the president can say this will be over in a few weeks. Anybody can say there'll be talks in Islamabad. But as long as this big wodge continues forward, that's the bit that's doing the damage. Anything over up towards $100 a barrel. So you ask how long this goes on. It goes on until there's a reason for the price to come down. And during the markets, does it once or twice. But longer term, Phil, it's not going to do it. And that's why you're seeing what you're seeing on yours.
Yeah, and it seems like markets, we've talked about this before, are finally looking around saying, oh, wait, there's no like near-term solution here anywhere at all. And the longer this...
And that's the problem. That's the problem. And that's why Donald Trump continues to try to interject the fact that, you know, these little comments, these true social posts that a deal's just around the corner, you just wait just a couple more hours, we'll get a deal done. They just called us on the phone 10 times and said they're collapsing. We're talking to the third, fourth, fifth string kind of, dignitaries over there in Iran, which is giving us everything that we want. The deal's near. Don't worry about it. That's why he's trying to mitigate this. You know what I mean? That's why he's trying to do it, because there's no other off ramp. There's no other kind of resolution to this conflict that anybody could see at this moment, which would give them the ability to say, okay, we could ease the markets, or we could ease this price or that price. There's a reason for us to be hopeful. There's a reason for us to believe anything that the United States government is saying. Nobody has that. Nobody's saying that. So that's why we continue to see the drastic increase that we're seeing, despite Donald Trump's attempt to keep them as low as humanly possible, to keep the pressure off of him. And again, Iran knows the same thing too. The longer that they keep the strait closed, the longer that it's not only closed through them, but also closed through the United States blockade, the more pressure that's going to put on the world economy, thus creating a situation where the people of the world put pressure on the United States and Israel to stop what they're doing, right? Or come up with some sort of deal that allows the opening of the strait, and again, the oil to start flowing and goods to start flowing again, so we could attempt to get back to some sort of normalcy. But as we continue to talk about, that doesn't seem to be anywhere in sight, despite what you continue to hear from this government. But that brings us on to, speaking of idiots in this government, to a couple of these clips here where Pete Kegsbreath was having to testify and seemingly, again, fumbled the bag, dropped the ball in front of the world. There's a couple clips from here. I think this is Rep. Adam Smith's opening statement to Hegseth. where he talks about the fact that they're basically punishing NATO. We're talking about punishing NATO, threatening NATO countries, and demeaning our allies on the world stage isn't really beneficial, isn't really helpful to the United States, or again, the partnerships that we've worked on for quite some time and tried to establish and have established for quite some time. So there's a couple clips that I want to play here, this being one of them. And again, this is just kind of the opening salvo, the opening statement from Rep. Adam Smith. And then we'll go on. I think there's a couple here from Hegseth making a fool out of himself as well. But check this one out. I'll start from the beginning, might help as well.
What we need to hear today is what is going to work. We have 50,000 troops in the region who are still at risk. How are those tactical victories going to translate into some sort of strategic success? And by the way, this is one of the things that realism recognizes. You can win a whole lot of little small battles and lose the war, which is why you don't stumble into the war in the first place. But at the same time, we're doing all of this on our own as we increasingly push away all of our allies. Sometimes just because we want to do what we want to do, we don't want to have to consult them, sometimes just gratuitously insulting them. I mean, in the middle of this war where we were asking NATO to come join us, the president took time out to insult President Macron and his wife. Okay, how is that helping us to try and belittle everybody in the world? And I also, for the people who are criticizing NATO over this war, I will remind people that NATO is a defensive alliance. What that means is every country in it pledges to defend a country if attacked. And when we were attacked on 9/11, that's what NATO did. They put in Article 5, and for 20 years they fought beside us. NATO is not if any one of the countries decides to unilaterally and unwisely start a war precipitously that everyone else is supposed to join. That's not the way it works. So berating and belittling our allies.
And he's right, but it's just embarrassing that we have to sit there and coach the Secretary of Defense on what the NATO alliance was actually established to do, what they're meant to do, how they're supposed to be utilized, and what they're supposed to be utilized for at this point in time. A lot of what he said there is kind of in line with a lot of the remarks from King Charles as well, where he kind of had a lot of subtle touches on NATO, subtle touches on, helping Ukraine and the importance of sticking and staying behind Ukraine in their fight against Russia, right? So the importance of your rhetoric, the importance of our partnerships, these things were all touched on by King Charles in either his speech in front of Congress or his speech at the dinner in some way, shape, or form. So, similar aspects here where people are trying to coach the government here, trying to coach the leadership and the people in it that are conducting this war on what the fuck is actually supposed to happen, what the rules and regulations are, how they've broken those. So Pete Hegseth here, in attempts to answer questions on how he's used not only the Pentagon, but obviously the United States military more broadly in Venezuela, in threats in taking over Greenland, obviously what we're seeing here with in conjunction with Israel in Iran. So, a lot of these questions were posed to him. Here's a couple other moments as far as that was concerned, too. There was one here where Ukraine specifically came up. Rep. Smith once again says, on Ukraine, a year plus ago, the president's advice was that Ukraine had no cards to play. Again, talking about the berating of Volodymyr Zelensky, when Volodymyr Zelensky just basically said, a truthful statement that, just because the United States has an ocean separating them doesn't mean that they can't feel pain from some of these geopolitical events, that they're unwilling to stick their nose in. They're unwilling to step up and recognize who's wrong and who's right in those. So again, they may have oceans separating them. They may have distance as far as being an ally as far as that's concerned, but that doesn't mean that the world isn't interconnected to a point where they can still feel hurt, much like we're seeing through the Strait of Hormuz. Right? Same fucking thing, which is exactly what people are talking about now. Not only that, but also the beauty of seeing, Zelensky in Ukraine step up to help the different Middle Eastern countries in defense against Iranian missiles and drones, to step up and help the United States in protection of their bases in the region because of what they've learned in their fight against Russia, because of the military genius, the military brilliance that they've shown. That they've learned in their time in their full-scale war with Russia. So to see that happening, not only that, but their potential sending of minesweepers into the strait to help clear the strait of mines. I mean, those things are just, again, chef's kisses as far as I'm concerned, and a big kick in the dick, a big smack in the face to Donald Trump for JD Vance and the rest of these idiots for the shit that they put Zelensky through when he was just trying to warn them, hey, beware. Just because you're fucking this far away from the war, just because you're this far away from the fight, doesn't mean you can't feel the effects, doesn't mean you can't feel the pain. So again, this was a question posed to him, and Rep. Smith goes on to say, clearly that was wrong. What did you miss? Asking what Pete Hegseth missed in that assessment. So I'll show you here Pete Hegseth's response in this moment, in this hearing.
So on Ukraine, a year plus ago, your advice, the president's advice, was Ukraine had no cards to play. They should go cut the best possible deal they could. Clearly, that was wrong. What did you miss? What did you miss about the conflict between Russia and Ukraine that you didn't see that Ukraine was going to be capable of doing what they've done in the last 14 months?
I mean, and again, that's another aspect above and beyond Zelensky's statements that were actually correct, factually correct as well, about the pain that the United States could feel. Also, the fact that the cabinet here, the secretaries of this administration, were rightly talking about, weren't rightly, they were talking about the fact that Ukraine were kind of, they'd be smart, they'd be wise to come to the negotiating table, to give up their land, to give up their territory, to come to some sort of an agreement with Russia because they were just going to be overrun. Better to give up some of the territory than to have Russia overrun the entirety of the country, was basically the gist of the statements coming from, and still are the gist of the statements coming from this administration. They still don't to any extent think that Ukraine has the ability to win this war, which is exactly why they continue to applaud themselves for not backing or supplying Ukraine with weapons as we were before. But the answer to this question here by Pete Hegseth on basically why the hell they could be, or how the hell they could be so incorrect as for the military capabilities of Ukraine and their ability to not only defend against Russians, but to push them back and to defeat their plans and to basically get them caught up in this immobile, stationary war that they're now engaged in, where they just continue to send people after people, wave after wave into the meat grinder, and Ukraine just keeps eating them up. So let's see what Pete Hegseth's response was here.
What we didn't miss, and we're here in this committee, is that Joe Biden, with no accountability, gave hundreds of billions of dollars.
So that seems like a reasonable answer, right? Hey, you're an idiot. You were incorrect about where Ukraine stood and basically how capable they would be in defending against Russia. What did you miss? Because you're the Secretary of Defense, or as you like to be called, the Secretary of War, kind of portrays some sort of military intelligence, right? How did you get it this fucking incorrect? How are you guys this wrong right now, considering what we've seen from the Ukrainians and how they've been able to establish themselves and continue to push back, the Russian horde? How is that something that you were this incorrect about? And his first words were Joe Biden, which is, again, a consistent through line of anybody in this administration that gets called out, that gets stuck, right? That feels like they're backed into a corner. There was a couple clips that I saw from Fox News and others where different members of Donald Trump's cabinet and different members of, the Republican Party themselves were asked questions that they had no answers for, and immediately went and jumped to, Joe Biden, whether it was about gas prices and not recognizing, again, the full-scale invasion by Russia of Ukraine and the effect that had on gas prices, or not recognizing the effect that COVID had on gas prices and the world economy, right? So they continue to bring up Joe Biden without putting any of the historical context in there whatsoever. But again, how many years into your administration are you going to still be talking about Joe Biden and what happened? Because I remember the last time that you were in office, you were trying to take credit about, a second after getting into office for any of the, the good things that were in motion, any of the benefit from Biden's administration that the people were feeling. Donald Trump's administration was really quick to jump on that. But now over a year into Donald Trump's second term, apparently he's not been able to change anything, and everything that we're now seeing is still the fault of Joe Biden, which again just shows you the the kind of the fucking the depravity of these people and how they have no answers, and they're just so shameless. They're so soulless, and they don't really care at how ridiculous they seem in front of cameras. They'll continue to point to Joe Biden and Biden's administration for things that they clearly have an impact over, clearly have caused themselves.
Of our weapons to Ukraine. to an outcome that never
you're
would
not
have
gonna
happened
an-
if
you're not
President
gonna
Trump
answer
was
the
president.
question.
So he pulled out you guys don't talk about that. Ultimately, President Trump believes there should be a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine.
But you didn't expect Ukraine to be where they're at right now. I'm asking you, just from a strategic standpoint, what
I
did
think the
you miss?
Ukrainians have shown great courage, and I appreciate that Europe is now paying for any weapons that we provide.
So again, doesn't answer the question and also has to interject the little bit of, we're also glad and happy that we're not supporting Ukraine at the end of that he threw in there. So clearly trying to dodge the fact that he has no ability to like distinguish, a victor or distinguish who has the benefit, the power on the battlefield. And again, this is the person now in charge of the Pentagon. There's another one of these moments here. This is posted by Aaron Rupar. Hegseth, their nuclear facilities have been obliterated, he said, which was immediately jumped on by Rep. Smith, where he basically points out, well, you opened your statements here today by saying that their nuclear capabilities had been, eradicated to begin with, but it was also the reason that we had to go to war. Like, so how can two of those things, how can both of those things be true at the same time? How can they have been completely obliterated as far as their nuclear capabilities, but also that's the justification you're using as to why we had to start this war? Right. So apparently the Operation Midnight Hammer wasn't as effective as you said, even less so because it led to a moment where we had to go to war with the United States military in order to, again, accomplish the goals that were allegedly accomplished during Operation Midnight Hammer. So I'll let this one play, but he goes on to kind of question that little bit of hypocrisy that we've all been pointing out pretty readily in this conversation. So let's see if we can check this out.
So they haven't broken yet. Okay, we haven't gotten there yet for all of the.
Well, their nuclear facilities have been obliterated underground. They're buried, and we're watching them 24/7. So we know where any nuclear material.
Reclaiming my time
for watching.
A second here. We had to start this war. You just said 60 days ago, because the nuclear weapon was an imminent threat. Now you're saying that it was completely obliterated?
They had not given up their nuclear ambitions, and they had a conventional shield of thousands of
missiles. So Operation Midnight Hammer accomplished nothing of substance. It left us at exactly the same place we were before. So much so
their
that
facilities were bombed and obliterated. Their ambitions continued, and they're building a conventional.
So now it wasn't their capabilities, guys. It wasn't the capabilities of the Iranians, right? It was their ambitions. We went to war over ambitions. We did obliterate all of their capabilities, all of their facilities, but because they still had ambitions, that's why we threw the United States military into a war. That's why we sacrificed 13 of our soldiers. That's why we have hundreds and hundreds of them injured. And bases that were struck and billions of dollars in lost revenue, in money spent, which is another aspect of this we'll talk about, because there was another one of these people that were questioned in front of Congress and asked a question on how much this was costing us. And he gave an answer that doesn't come anywhere near anybody's estimates, even the low estimates, even the conservative estimates by people that are in favor of this war. This doesn't even scratch the surface. But I'll let Pete Kegsbreath here go on with his answer to this.
All right, let me try again.
It's the North Korea strategy. You know this very well. The North Korea strategy was use conventional missiles to prevent anybody from challenging them so they could slow walk their way to a weapon. President Trump saw Iran.
I apologize, guys. The volume's low on Twitter. There's just there's really nothing that I could do about it. I apologize. That's why I'm trying not to stop it as much as possible. But for some reason, it's just shitty Elon Musk, shitty Twitter, shitty audio, the whole 9 yards. Some of them are better than others. Some of them are low and poor in quality. So I do apologize about that. But it should be at least to a point where you can make it out. Again, these are short clips. So, there are not a ton of these that we have to touch base on anyway. Where was this? I think I have another one here as well. Let me see if I could find this other one. Did I pull that one up? Because there was one where the guy was asked about how much this was costing, and he said $25 billion was the answer that he gave, right? But let's just check in with the Iran war tracker. You guys know what, I'm sure you've seen this. This is estimated, and again, these are low estimates. This is estimated at $1 billion per day. $1 billion per day at over 65 billion at this point. When, again, the person who testified in front of Congress was trying to give the answer of 25 billion. Let me see if I can find that real quick. I think it was on this one. Throw this on the screen. Throw this one up there. Let's just see here if I can find it real quick. We're doing this. NATO, come join us. I'm an insults. God to continue our troops. No, I'll never remember which one it was on now. It might have been this one or Asen's one. Give me a second. Was it this one? Nuclear facilities have been obliterated. Brutal takedown, Nancy Mace. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. See, Torres, Hegseth. Represent foreign governments or as persons' private interest. I don't know. You don't know somebody who was sitting in your meetings as a special advisor? Let's check this one out. I don't know, just 2 minutes, 58 seconds. So basically he's asking him, does Mr. Parlator represent foreign governments or persons in his private law practice? Hegseth says, I don't know. Crow goes on to say, you don't know somebody who's sitting in your meetings as a special advisor? You don't know if they represent foreign governments? Again, clearly showing the incompetence. There's got to be one of these in here that says it. Let's see here. Opening the Strait. I ask, may God continue to watch over our troops in harm's way. No, of course, I'm not going to be able to find it now that I want to see it. When I don't want to see it, it's the easiest thing to find. If you do want to see it, it's the hardest thing. Let me see. Check one more site. Was it maybe this? Last one. If not, we'll move on. I'm sure there's more clips coming out from this as well. Hegseth refuses to explain President Trump's Dr. Jesus post. Secretary Hegseth says the president is the sharpest commander-in-chief we've had in generations. Jesus Christ. Fucking sycophants at every turn. But excuse me, I'm looking for a specific clip. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Man, there's a ton of these coming out now, huh? Come on, for crying out loud. Anyway, all right, we'll see if we can dive into another one of these clips, I guess, then. We'll see if we can leave it for, we'll pick it up tonight if I can find that exact clip where the guy says 25 billion. But, of course, it doesn't take much to see that that's a pretty ridiculous estimate as far as that's concerned. And that was supposed to be like the entirety, right? That was supposed to be everything. But as you can see here, even by the conservative estimates, nowhere even remotely close. Nowhere even remotely close to the truth. And they said that they were going to be able to put forth some detailed notes and some detailed accounts of exactly how that was spent. So I look forward to actually seeing how they try to put that down as far as that being the amount that they've spent on this one. So let's see here. We'll dive into this next one as well because there's a couple Lego videos that I want to get to. But this was one of the stories that we didn't get to yesterday that I was talking about. The congressional Republicans rally around Trump's White House ballroom project. Now that they're talking about the fact that they want taxpayer funds to go to this. So, you heard that it was a private ballroom. It's privately funded. Why does anybody care? Why does anybody have a problem that they tore down the East Wing to build, a ballroom that was basically twice the size as the rest of the fucking White House? Like, why would anybody have an issue with that? Well, now all of a sudden, after the White House Correspondents' Dinner, the people are now in lockstep. People like Lindsey Graham, Katie Britt, Eric Schmidt on Monday announced plans to introduce legislation that would authorize $400 million to fund President Donald Trump's long sought after White House ballroom. Trump, in the aftermath of the shooting incident at the White House Correspondents' Dinner over the weekend, has said that the ballroom is needed and a safer alternative for large gatherings with many government officials, which again is just asinine on its face because it's not like every single event can be held at this ballroom. And again, it wasn't even like an official White House event, so it wouldn't have been held at that ballroom regardless, even if it was done, established there, ready to rock and roll. So this whole thing is just fucking mindlessly stupid to begin with, right? The fact that, what is the president never going to leave the White House fucking grounds, right? Everybody, no matter what's going to happen, has to come to that. But it's just the whole fucking thing's ridiculous. But now, as you can try to see, they have absolutely no care in the world now putting that on the backs of the taxpayers because of the importance that they see now. Even though they, again, like I said, the ridiculousness of it is just it's overwhelming at this point to think that somehow this ballroom is going to stop and save anybody or everybody from any of this happening ever again. In every incident, every interview, every event, every dinner is going to have to be held at this ballroom for like from now to eternity. Apparently, it's just ridiculous to even think. But let's get into some of these. Oh, hold on. There was one more thing that I wanted to say as far as that was concerned too. What was this one? Other congressional Republicans joined Trump's calls on Monday, announcing the separate plans to introduce legislation they say could clear a path for its construction. So they're trying to use. What was the authorization that they were trying to use here? It says in addition, Graham Britt and Senator Rand Paul, that was another one that I wanted to, said he would introduce legislation on the floor on Tuesday that moves the project forward and would not require new taxpayer costs, even in the Republican-controlled House and Senate, using $400 million in taxpayer money to pay for that project. Trump said already had private funding is likely to be a tough sell. Of course, it's going to be a tough sell. The main thing that they were already talking about, their main rhetoric, their main line in this was that it was a privately funded thing, right? That was why they continuously said, why does anybody care? Why are you mad? It's not costing the taxpayers a cent, even though there was established contracts to other projects associated with this ballroom. That originally were supposed to go out. I think the Biden administration had put out some estimates as far as what this project would cost, this side project. And correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Was it something having to do with the fountains, that are across from where the ballroom's going to be built? But the Biden administration gave an estimate of about $3.3 million as far as what the project cost would be to do what they were doing. Now that was kind of like a contract awarded to one of these companies, basically, and instead of $3.3 million, it's somewhere up to 20 or 21 or 22 million dollars that it's now going to cost, the American taxpayer, the American tax people, as far as that is concerned. So, it looks like a very clear instance of padding one of the contracts for a certain person. To make sure that they, could profit heavily from that, as to where the benefit, as to where the, the review was just when Biden was president and how much that was going to cost. So you can see where they're really trying to stick it to the people in every single direction. You always knew that it was going to happen, that they were going to throw this on the backs of the American taxpayer. They were never, ever going to let their big billionaire donors and their friends cough up this money if they didn't have to, if there was some fucking path in order for them to rob you and us blind and make you and us pay for this thing. That's exactly what they were going to do. But that's why I don't feel bad playing things like this, guys. That's why I really don't feel bad playing things like this. And again, this isn't Lego. It's not Lego, right? It's not the Lego version, nor is it very well done. It just, I have to say, no offense to the account that makes this, in case they ever see this, no offense whatsoever. It's difficult to make a proper one of these. I will say it's not very easy, but I think the message gets across very nicely. I will say, I don't think it's really very necessary to have like the best quality AI to try to get the message across. But this is detailing Pete Hegseth and Kash Patel on a little bit of a road trip. I think they're on their way to Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. Again, this isn't musical. This is not Lego, but it does kind of have the same ring to it, I will say. The same mocking impact of the people, the idiots now in our government. So let's see if we can. I wanted to show you guys this one if I could, but check this one out again. Pete Hegseth takes Kash Patel on a road trip destination to a nightclub in Vegas. Kash Patel looks like he's already started the fun. Looks like he's already got some pretzels and some empty cans in front of him. Looks like he's been dipping into Don Jr.'s booger sugar. Got a little bit of a cap on. Looks like he's ready to party, ladies and gentlemen. What do you say we dive into this one? And again, this is like more along the lines of like the feature-length film things that we've been talking about, but let's check this in again. Hegseth and Kash Patel on a road trip to Vegas in a motorhome. Let's check it out.
Hey, who the fuck are you?
Oh man, Kash, you must be tanked. You're such a lightweight. I've been here the entire time.
Oh, it's just you, Pete. sorry. Something just seems different about you.
Yeah. Back to my original look after some nerds in the comments said I look more like Cro-Magnon Jerry O'Connell.
Nah, that's not it. Must be your new tie. Pete, my reputation is bleeding. The Atlantic calls me a drunk party animal. It's a total
Pete, my reputation is bleeding. The Atlantic calls me a drunk party animal. He says it's a total witch hunt. For some reason, I don't know why the volume's kind of low. It's kind of low for me on this one too. I'm not really sure because this one is on Instagram, so typically the volume's not really an issue, but it's a little low. Hopefully you can still make it out. If not, the words are on the screen as well. But he says it's a witch hunt.
witch hunt. Where are we even going? And why couldn't we just take the Gulf Stream? We're in an RV, Pete. My skin is literally absorbing the poverty right now.
You gotta live.
Why can't we take the Gulf Stream, the jet? Obviously, that's been a point of contention for its uses, not only for Kash Patel, but also for his girlfriend and others also in the administration. But he says we're in a motorhome. My skin is absorbing the poverty.
Hey, low, buddy. We're hitting Hakkasan in Vegas. I made reservations. Absolutely no cameras allowed. The jet draws heat, but out here, open road, unlimited taxpayer-funded beer, way cheaper than the jet. Plus, Bobby's meeting us there with that toilet seat candy.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. No one knows how hard this job is. The things I've done for that orange turd. I should be able to sleep off my hangover after an all-nighter at a Vegas nightclub. Wait, who's driving?
I'm driving, you idiot. Oh, shit.
Pete's supposed to be driving the damn thing. He's back there having a conversation with Kash.
This is exactly like that scene in Anchorman 2!
Yeah, exactly like it!
And then it says Secretary of War and FBI director involved in DUI crash in RV. This is then take a guess at who this is getting this message. RFK with the brainworm already at the club that they were supposed to meet him at. He goes straight for the bathroom. Again, like I said, I knew it was not the best quality of that, but I think the message gets across quite clearly. I think it's quite clearly the message that they're getting across isn't too difficult to understand. But there's a bunch of these that have come out. A few of them that we have to die. Here's this one by what is it? I think it's Akon. They're called funniest AI Lego track so far. Donnie Liar. This one's called. Check this one out. This one is the musical version. Check this out.
Yeah, you know what's funny, Donnie? You surrounded yourself with pedophiles and told them don't rat each other out. Great strategy, champ. Let's go. Donnie liar, pedo circle, don't you cry. Donnie liar, Epstein's ghost still in the sky. Donnie liar, Bibi's puppet can't deny. Donnie liar, watch your whole empire fry. Yeah. You filled your team with sex offenders, thought they keep the secret tight. Told them snitches get the stitches, keep the skeletons out the light. But the files keep on dropping, Donnie 5,000.
You filled your administration with, what'd he say? Sex predators?
Times your name, every redacted paragraph just fans the dying flame. Maxwell's in the federal prison, Epstein's dead but still talks. And your name pops up on every flight log, every midnight walk. You thought the brotherhood of perverts would protect your precious skin. Now the whole world knows you swam in the same filthy bin. Oops. Donnie liar, pedo circle, don't you cry. Donnie liar, Epstein's ghost still in the sky. Donnie liar, Bibi's puppet can't deny. Donnie liar, watch your whole empire fry. Baby told you jump you ass how high before you hit the floor. He sent you to the straight to steal some more.
I know we're running out of time though. There's another one of these. Hold on. There's this one too. Just so I can fit them all. And this one's crazy because look at this already. Look at what's written. Look at what's written in the sand. right? And tell me what you think that relates to. Tell me what you think that relates to. 86-47 in the sand there in bright lights, already referencing the indictment of James Comey there for his Twitter post of a similar ilk. So again, they're on top of these things very quick. Very quick do they input, what's going on in the news, kind of what people are discussing, what people are talking about. So already there in the sand, the 86-47, which again, if the DOJ is going to have to lock up everybody that's posted that or thinks that, everybody that's got a bottle of champagne next to their bed ready to go, they're going to have to be locking up a lot of people. I think about 3/4 of the country is going to have to be locked up alongside James Comey. So let's check this out.
Yeah. Yeah. Homeless clothes. Listen up. Yeah. Homeless tax. Homeless tax. 8 to 20 billion every single day. Fact. Homeless tax. Homeless tax. You losing way more than Iran ever pays. Yeah. Iran loses couple million. That's the daily cost. But the world loses 10 times more. You getting lost. US gets hit 7 billion every day. Plus extra gas prices making voters run away. Midterms coming soon. You think the fake assassination saves you? Seashells and ball.
So there you go, right there. So talking about the event at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and then here, what's supposed to be in Seychelles, the 86-47, making fun of the snowflakes here in the DOJ and the Trump administration, who again is going to have to lock up people like Jack Posobiec as well, considering they wrote the same or similar things online as it pertained to Biden as well. So again, this is going to open up a whole lot of shit. Especially as it, kind of goes against the, the First Amendment rights that we have in this country. But yeah, already here detailing, and unfortunately we have run out of time, but detailing the news story of, the Trump administration, the DOJ, once again going after Comey again for his post there of 86-47 in Seychelles, something that he said he stumbled on his walk, if I'm not mistaken, that he had already deleted as well. But, the craziness ensues. The craziness continues. The craziness ensues. People getting their news from Lego videos, the AI videos depicting what is going on with the people in our administration. It just never ceases to amaze me. I'm going to toss it over to my main man, Jeff Waldorf, over there on this space. My apologies if I've overrun by any seconds or any minutes there, but I do appreciate you guys on this space. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to Matt. Hope all things are well over there. And again, take it away, Jeff. Keep kicking ass, my friend. Make sure you guys stick around at Blunt Politics, so we can thank everybody who contributed to the show today. So appreciate you guys on this space. I will let you go. All right. Appreciate you. Yeah, Black Dragon. I do agree. Where'd that go? There it is right there. I do agree, Black Dragon. Appreciate you over there on Twitch. Thank you, everybody else on Twitch as well. Thank you, Soylent Green. Thank you, Free Vent. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much to everybody representing on all of the different platforms. Again, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Substack, the whole 9 yards. I really do, appreciate all of the love and support and all of the help and the boosting that you guys do for this show, for this account. I really do hope at some point I will make you continuously proud by making this continuously grow, because that's what we're hoping to do. So with your help, we can get there. If you guys want to hit that subscribe button, help us get to 20K, that would be fantastic. If you can send in a buck or two on the Venmo, that's a big way in which you can help the channel as well. Sign up for a YouTube membership, sign up at the Patreon, grab a t-shirt at the merch site. Again, you don't necessarily have to get one that represents or says anything about Blunt Politics or Boston Brian. There's a ton on there that just kind of show your love for, human rights, resisting authoritarians, resisting fascism, where you lie, on what side of history you lie on. So a lot of great stuff at bostonbrian.com. Check out the merch site there. But what do we say we get into thanking some people here who were kind enough to send over $1 or $2 on the old Venmo machine. As always, I appreciate you guys. Oh, Tom, Mr. Altar Boy himself, I appreciate you, brother. You are just fucking fantastic. He says, keep on keeping on, brother, with a really, really nice and generous Venmo. Appreciate that so much, Tom. Thank you for everybody over the last couple days as well. Thank you, Victoria, very, very much for your kind your kind generosity and your contribution to the show. Great live stream today, as always, Boston Brian. Keep them coming. Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Victoria. Very, very nice of you to say. Very much appreciate your help. Thank you so much to Mark as well. Thank you so much to Roxanne, Yakov, Claudia, Geneva, Nina, Raja, V. Sawyer, and Kristen. everybody over the last couple days that has been nice enough to kind of contribute, kick in a buck or two to help keep this channel going and growing. Very much appreciated. I know we're in tough times. We're kind of in like the middle area here. We're kind of close to midterms. People are just kind of utilizing this time to vacation, to kind of, to disconnect for a little bit before we start getting into the real craziness leading into midterm. So I understand we're kind of in that lull at the moment. So for anybody that is still sticking around, that is still watching every single show, and especially to the people that are contributing either on Patreon, YouTube memberships, here on Venmo, or in the chat, I really do thank you. Thank you for your passion, your aggression, your support. You guys being here every day really keeps me going as well. So first up today on YouTube was Nola. Shout out to Nola. Nola in the chat. Thank you so much. Hi, Boston Brian and the Lobsters. Right back at you, Nola, from everybody here at Blunt Politics. Thank you so much for your support, your passion. Really do appreciate you. So thank you. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you, Bald Thanos. What's going on? How are you? Good to see you. Cheesecake pizza looks really good. Cheesecake pizza looks really good. Like Cheesecake Factory? Cheesecake pizza looks really good. Now, you're throwing me for a loop on that one, because first my mind goes to Cheesecake Factory because I worked there for quite some time, but I could be totally off on that. But I'm not sure if I'd dive into a cheesecake pizza. You'd kind of have to sell me on that one before I dive in. Thanos. I appreciate you, though. Thank you so much for the contribution. Always good to see you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you, JD, as always, for your kind contributions, my friend, keeping this channel going almost single-handedly at this point. No, I'm kidding. I appreciate you, JD, though. Thank you so much. And thank you, Shockey, today. Keep strong, my friends. We sure will, Shockey, because of your help, because of your support. Love it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And maybe tonight, while at the tonight show, you guys can, anybody that's from across the pond can kind of give me your thoughts, comments, concerns, what you thought about the meeting of King Charles and Queen Camilla, what Donald Trump had to say, what the King had to say, some of the other events. So if you guys have any thoughts, comments, questions, concerns on that, check us out tonight, 8:30 p.m. We got another 2-hour edition. So anything that we didn't get through today, I'll make sure that we bring up and get through tonight. We had a couple videos here from Ukraine, updates as well. Unfortunately, we ran out of time, but that's okay, because I like giving them the proper time that they are required to get through all of the madness, the craziness, the strikes, what's going on the front line. So if that's what interests you, if you want to come back and check out what's been going on today, what other craziness, I'm sure there's going to be some more clips of Pete Hegseth and his testimony today that we can dive into. That'll be posted from now until then. So I'm sure there's going to be no shortage of things to talk about. So make sure you hit that like button on the way out. I really do appreciate you. Oh, thank you so much, Paul. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that very, very much, man. Sliding that in there at the end. Paul says, Fighting for Democracy Fund. Thank you, Boston Brian, for getting the truth out to the masses. Really appreciate it. You keep me from going bonkers. That's like above and beyond my appreciation for your contribution. Like the words in there, the rhetoric is something that really, really keeps me going, right? Because there are people out there that are like just on the verge of losing their shit. And again, Paul, not saying that's where you are, my friend, but just kind of like, people that are so fucking close to kind of checking out, or not wanting to dive into any of the craziness, but, kind of find a way that, I can make it a little bit more digestible, or, talking to the people in the chat as you're watching the craziness makes it a little bit easier. Like, that's what kind of stokes the passion. That's what kind of keeps this channel going, is the people that, find some sort of benefit, some value, people that, like I said, enjoy the community, or, enjoy the shows and what we cover here, the information that you get. So I really do appreciate that, Paul, not only the contribution, but also your kind words, my friend. I really, really do appreciate that. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. So I'll see you guys tonight. Won't keep you any longer than I have to. Go celebrate. Go enjoy the rest of this fine day. And I'll see you tonight, 8:30 p.m. here, 2-hour show, diving into all of the craziness that we didn't get a chance to cover today on the early show. So appreciate you. Hit that like button on the way out. Share the show if you can, whether that's just talking about it on Instagram, talking about it on Facebook, mentioning it in a Twitch chat of somebody else's, political Twitch that, may relate to our channel. People that are watching that may also get some benefit in watching this. Again, don't be overpowering. Don't be a pain in the ass in the chat, but, just kind of throw a lobster in there every once in a while. Maybe it'll spark a debate, spark a question as to what that means. So appreciate you guys. Thank you to the mods, as always. You are very much appreciated. You are, as is important to the show as I am or this microphone is. So thank you guys for everything that you do. And that's everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Substack, the whole 9 yards. Every single one of you, top to bottom. Love you, appreciate you, respect you, and I will see you later tonight, 8:30 p.m. All right, guys? Appreciate you. Thank you. I'm Brian. This is Blunt Politics, and I will see you tonight. Thank you, Shano. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Shocky. Thank you, Tina. Dame Dog, appreciate you, my brother. Thank you, Roxanne. Thank you, Orb Bruma. Tiff, as always, love you. Thank you so much. Thank you to Kyle. Once again, to Paul. Appreciate you, Pops. Thank you, Yakov. Appreciate you, brother.
Вітаю, Бостон Брайан. Мій позивний танцор. Я представник 72-ї бригади. Дякую тобі і твоїм підписникам за цей донат, за цю чудову машину, яка буде нас возити усіх на позиції, захищати Україну і наближати перемогу. Разом усі до перемоги. Дякую.
You're a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your.
Taking it back to Nevada where he's wanted for banging horses.
Hey, you got a little chubby going there.
He says rectum damn near killed him. What in the hell was that all about? I say mud, I said crud. You fall into some crud or something? I'm just dandy. I got a bowl of chocolate pudding in my underpants.
Call them dumps, big massive dumps. They call them dumps, big massive dumps.
Вітаю, Бостон Брайан. Мій позивний танцор. Я представник 72-ї бригади. Дякую тобі і твоїм підписникам за цей донат, за цю чудову машину, яка буде нас возити усіх на позиції, захищати Україну і наближати перемогу. Разом усі до перемоги. Дякую.
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
Yesterday's a hard word for me.
Man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
It feels so lovely to be here tonight. What a beautiful life. Give yourselves a round of applause. It's so lovely. Everyone's so lovely. Where you going? Nowhere.
We always do about this time.
When you ran out the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy. They had great arms, but they ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular, and pitchers. I guess.
Go fuck yourself.
You'll have a group of Venezuelan killers, street gangs, occupying the town with MK-47s. I know that gun very well. I got to know it very well. I've become an expert on guns.
what uranium is, right? This thing called nuclear weapons and other things, like lots of things are done with uranium, including some bad things.
The big, fat, sloppy United